It's Friday, December 28, 2012, and let's talk about what happened this week over at XDADevelopers.com. First up, device update, ROM update type news. The Samsung Galaxy Tab 8.9 was essentially abandoned a while back. It came with Honeycomb, and that was about as far as it ever really got. However, the fine guys at XDA have decided it's not to be forgotten, and therefore XDA senior member COM has gone ahead and ported Android 4.2.1 using an unofficial version of CyanogenMod 10.1 to the Galaxy Tab 8.9. It is still to be considered early and experimental, but there are a lot of core things working, such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, sound, cameras, display storage, and rotation sensors, but everything else is still a little bit untested. However, if you have the Galaxy Tab 8.9, it might be worth taking a look at the forum thread, see if you can get involved in some way, maybe try it out and provide some logcats to the developers, maybe try to develop a little bit on your own. Definitely well on its way to being a daily driver. Additionally, we mentioned a few months ago that the Samsung Wave, originally a Bada OS device, had received a port of Android to it. And actually looking at it again, it looks like it was back in 2011 when that actually happened, and it's been receiving updates ever since on other ROMs. Well, XDA senior member Hero355 has gone ahead and outdone himself by releasing not one, not two, but 3 different ROMs for this device. All of these should again be considered early alpha. It's a device that wasn't ever intended to support Android though, so I can't really foresee it being called daily driver right out of the box. Some of the things that are not working, just to throw it out there, are the GPS, the modem, the microphone, and some of the sensors. But Wi-Fi, sound, accelerometer, camera, SD card, and app installation all works, and you can overclock the processor. So you can take this relatively older device that was never intended to run Android and run Android even better than you probably would have been able to normally. The forum thread and see for yourself. Now, we've mentioned a bunch of times here in the past people compiling these and porting things over, these versions of CM10 and AOKP and everything else. We've also mentioned a bunch of ways that you can do it yourself. However, thanks to XDA University and XDA senior member Mythune46, you can now again go over to XDA University and find a tutorial on how to do all of those things yourself under Ubuntu 12.10. It walks you through the entire process from setting up your environment on top of Ubuntu, pulling down all the source code that you'll need, and building it. So if you ever have wanted to compile your own CM10, CM10.1, AOKP, anything like that, you can definitely go ahead and do that now. Head on over to XDA University, find the link down in the video description to the portal story, which will take you over to XDAU. The next story, really big story, actually made it into one of the other XDA TV videos that came out this week, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. XDA Elite recognized developers AdamOutler and Rebellos have been working on a way to essentially make the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy camera unbrickable. They've managed to get it booting from an SD card using an open source bootloader, which basically at the end of the day means that if you somehow manage to fry the eMMC on your device, you can stick an SD card in there, do some hardware modifications to it. I believe it's a hardware mod. Do feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Adam, I know you're probably watching this. But one way or another, you put the SD card in and then you boot from that instead of the bricked eMMC, and you do whatever you have to do to fix it from that point. There are still some things that are yet to be done, but all of those things are being worked on, and you can find out all of the progress from the forum thread. All of the details can be found in the portal post or the forum thread. I'll have the link to that in the video description as well. The other cool thing about that is this is just the start. There's a couple of devices that this works on at the moment, but there should be a lot more to come. It's sort of that first step inside of the boundaries. You're not having to be reliant upon the physical bootloader, the physical hardware that allows you to boot the device anymore, because you can have your own bootloader on the external stuff. Very cool, good work guys, moving on. Another bit of really good news came out of the free Xperia team this week. A lot of devices that have come out in the last year or so are still running older versions of the Linux kernel. As I tell you right now, the Linux kernel version 3.8 is going to be releasing in the very near future, and a lot of devices are still running kernel version 2. something, or a lot of them are actually hitting 3.0 at this point. Well, the free Xperia team are working to develop the Linux 3.4 kernel to work on a lot of Sony devices, specifically the Sony 2011 SEMC devices, which includes the Sony Xperia Arc. As always, if you'd like to see the progress they're making, see what sort of development is going on, see how it works, see the kernel source, all sorts of stuff like that, check out the forum thread. They've created a GitHub where you can see all of the source and see all the commits and all the changes and see how things are actually going. Definitely an amazing thing and a great way to see how the open source community works. And just to show we're not 100% Android around here, XDA forum member Quartz has released a quick and simple app to the Windows 8 store for the XDA site. Gives you quick and easy access to all of the portal articles and the XDA TV videos. And all you have to do if you're running a Windows 8 machine is just head on over to the Windows App Store and pull it on down. I do have a copy of Windows 8 on my laptop and on my desktop at work. I just haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. I might, when I go into work tomorrow, pull it down and see how it looks. I will say though, in the screenshot from the article, I see my face, so I'm already pleased with it. The last two things I thought I'd mention, of course, XDA Developer TV has put out 2 videos this week. The first one was AdamOutler's Best Hacks of 2012. A lot of them Adam was involved with himself, however, the grand majority of them someone else was working on and he just stepped in to do what he could because he's an amazing developer like that. But in and amongst that, you've got things like the Exynos exploit that came out recently, you've got the Verizon Galaxy Note 2 unlock, Unbreakable mod, root all the things, the rooting box that Adam created, lots and lots of great hacks, and of course it was an amazing video, so if you haven't seen that one, definitely go check it out. And additionally, TK put out XDA's top apps of 2012. These were things like Mobile Odin and Apex Launcher and all sorts of other amazing applications. And of course, like I mentioned before, I put out the XDA top stories of 2012 last week, so at this point we've put out 3 different videos talking about our top things of the year. If you haven't seen any of those, do make sure to go back and check them out. Lots of amazing things have happened this year, and I cannot wait to see what happens in 2013. But anyway, that's going to be all from me for today. Make sure to hit the like button down below if you like this video, and Domo-kun says that you should subscribe to our channel. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.